that includes Marine Corps Air Station at the field. We are in support of the bill, and I agree that there should be some boundaries, and you know, we support the bill as it's written. I do think that the collaboration could be encouraged a little more if this is actually, as it sits, goes forth among the historical partners, and that would be the State Historic Preservation Division, Jeff, Save the Field, and a couple other entities, including us. I think there needs to be a little more collaboration. We are the experts on what happened at that place. We know every building, every runway, every date that thing was built. We're pretty much the guys to go to for information on the place, but yet I don't feel that the Naval Air Museum really has been intrinsic in the process, other than being on the periphery of it and, you know, occasionally being asked a question or two. And this bill is written, I think, should be supported. Now I'm going to retreat. Unless you have any other questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wishes to testify on the measure before the committee? Give you any written testimony?
I will submit, Chair, written testimony upon my verbal testimony being concluded. My name is Tom Berg. I'm an EWA Beach resident, and I'm here on vacation time. I do work here at the state capitol, and I don't believe there's a conflict. 3 neighborhood boards have undertaken this issue, and 3 neighborhood boards on the island of Oahu have unanimously supported the preservation of the EWA Marine Airfield out in EWA. When the EWA Neighborhood Board, of which I'm a member of, had heard of this issue, since December 7th, 1941, there's been no activity to facilitate and advance the preservation status of a battlefield. The current status of a land transfer between the Navy and a private developer has it whereby if the state legislative body does not facilitate and advance action, puts the ball back in the court of the private sector. The private sector has attempted to advance preservation of the airfield on both the state and federal level, and it has failed. The complexity of having the Navy, a military entity, acquiesce lands, property to a private sector is a contract of which the public doesn't get to see. There's no unilateral agreement. There's no process for the public at large to be of witness to the confines of a land transfer. We are in a status of, I call it quagmire. Chair McKelvey, there is testimony in opposition that the private sector should undertake the nomination process, and it has failed. In the next 11 weeks, if you were to merely pass this measure out, would provide a plan B. A plan B being that private developer, Navy, Section 106. Section 106, as you know, Chair McKelvey, is that the Navy says what's historic, what should be protected in the land transfer. Everything is unclear. The reason that Representative Pine followed through with the EWA Neighborhood Board's directive to put this on preservation status is that everything is unclear. There's no definition here. Right now, as we speak, me speaking to you, Chair, is that the quadrants, surveys, datum points are undefined. There is such a lack of clarity that if you were to pass and punt and give it back to the private sector, there would be, again, that quagmire. No definition, no movement, no ability to take the potential of where 2 EWA Beach residents lost their lives on December 7th. 4 Marines lost their lives on December 7th. Marines have been asking for merely clarity and definition. This bill is so simplistic, Chair. It doesn't ask for eminent domain. It doesn't ask for funds for maintaining the site. It just gives you a vehicle to merely, for the next 11 weeks, while a land transfer of a contract can be usurped by this process. If this bill fails today, we're back in the private sector arena of whereby, again, since 1941, where 6 people lost their lives, there has not been anything but a plaque on a golf course outside of the rec center, or excuse me, of a restaurant of the golf course. There is strafing markings. There are the tie-down burning on the concrete. The biggest attraction in the state of Hawaii is Pearl Harbor of World War II significance. The largest tourist attraction goes to Pearl Harbor. People are craving to get a piece of history to educate all of us. If you think of the Berlin Wall, my father has a piece of the Berlin Wall on his living room wall. Because when the wall went down, the people of the nation of Germany had decided that it had significance. This too airfield has such same significance. Either the state takes ownership, the lead, and merely has a plan B in place that if the communications between the private developer and the transfer of such lands, the city and county of Honolulu even has a parcel. Is the city and county of Honolulu going to preserve it? They've made no advancement. Is the private developer gonna say, you know what, I can build 300 condominium units on here, or I could put it in preservation status? Obviously, the private developer is not gonna initiate on their own. The Navy did not do a Section 106 to advance. So what we have is, the ball is in the state legislative body. You can, as the state legislature, according to our state constitution, advance and place such on the historic register for the state of Hawaii. It's a very simplistic measure, doesn't require any funds. So again, as an Ewa Beach resident coming here on my own time, as a member of the Ewa Neighborhood Board, it took about 2 seconds for our board to figure out and come to a conclusion that this preservation of the Ewa Airfield must be preserved. And again, if this bill does not pass out through today, puts it back in the private sector, of which has since December 7th, 1941, there's been no activity, no action, no advancement because of the complexities of the property transfer involved. Thereby, the state is in a perfect position to take leadership and provide the clarity of which this bill provides. Thank you.